Open up my eager eyes, I miss the bright sun. Welcome, guys. Apologies. What's good? What's good? Sorry, I've had a lot more today. Trying to get my laptop to work, mate. It's not having it. What up? Hold up. I see the tape was on Piers Morgan again. Right, it's a fucking full episode. No one else watched it. I know exactly why he's on there.
If you have no interest in making money from the currency markets whatsoever,
Piers hates Meghan Markle. So yeah, having Tate going on there and saying about how much of a twat she is, man, he'll absolutely love that.
Well, good evening from London. Welcome to Piers Morgan Uncensored.
I'll wait
Have
for
you
him.
ever heard of Mr. Beast? What about PewDiePie? How about Keemstar, Logan Paul, Jake Paul? The answer might well be no. You haven't heard of them.
How we doing?
If you've got kids, you will definitely have heard of them, and they most certainly have.
Let's wait for the rest of the people to turn up.
Digital personalities
Then we get started.
are viewed by literally billions of young
But yeah,
people
I'm just going to start watching this.
Their endorsements are worth millions in sales. Their opinions can instantly reshape conversations in schools.
I think Piers likes him, to be honest.
Social media, they're more influenced than most musicians, soap stars, sports stars, columnists, lawmakers. But unlike those power brokers of the past, the politicians and cultural stars who can set the social agenda, these people seem to exist in a parallel universe. Their views go largely unchallenged, shared only as bite-sized clips. Their digital businesses often operate beyond the scrutiny of normal journalists and even regulators. They wield massive influence over young people, and they're restricted only by the ever-changing whims of big tech companies. It makes no more sense than senators or secretaries of state simply never appearing on television. Well, my guest tonight is a perfect case
How we doing?
example of both enormous digital conquest and the risks that come with it. He's Andrew Tate. His last interview with me has so far been viewed over 8 million times on YouTube alone.
I love him.
17 million times across all platforms, which is staggering for someone who perhaps you're watching and thinking, who is Andrew Tate? It was a robust exchange. And Andrew Tate was here because he'd effectively been kicked off the mainstream internet for supposed misogyny. His tirades against women were viewed literally billions of times. Well, the first time around, I wanted to find out if he deserved to be banned and if he'd ever actually crossed a line from shocking opinions to...
Yeah, I was going to say this is the updated
He
version.
just didn't fit the ideal model of the platforms.
The thing is, Piers and Andrew are kind of on the same side on many issues.
Sure.
Right? Do you think women are the property of men?
No. The point I was making...
Why have you said they are?
Because I made a religious point.
Anyway, guys,
That you have the ability
let me just pause this.
No.
Right, so we'll get started with the AMA. I know everyone probably wants to watch that, but I was going to say I'll leave you to watch it on your own computers and that, not ruin the content. So, does anyone have any questions, first of all? But yeah, while I wait for some questions to come in. Yeah, I think Piers likes him, to be honest. I know he can't say it, but I think Piers does like him. I think he just tries to... I think he wants to disagree on a lot of issues, but I think they do agree on quite a few issues, like veganism, Meghan Markle being a knobhead, some traditional values, whatever. COVID, I think Piers is kind of admitting he's wrong. But he still holds his ground, saying, the 6 million died in the whole world and all this lot. But yeah. He's an absolute attention magnet. You know, I mean, Piers basically had to make his own show because obviously Good Morning Britain kicked him off. Or he walked off, so I say. because of Meghan Markle. You know, I mean, partly to do with that. So yeah, him inviting on to chat shit about Meghan's fucking brilliant. Because I know Tate's going to go in on her because I know it really doesn't like her, and rightly so. Just getting back to the question asked in the chat. When it comes to trademarking, does it need to be trademarked in the marketplace, country or more country? It doesn't matter. It can be either. Personally, I'd just like to go with one of the big companies, countries like UK, US, you know what I mean, Germany, whatever. But it's absolutely feasible for wherever you live, you know what I mean? Because there's a guy now who lives in Dubai and he's setting up on the UK. So it's not that important, to be honest, my friend. There are no real pros and cons, to be honest. The only reason it exists is just like a safeguard against people trying to hijack your listing. It's not that important, to be honest. It's just there as a precaution. You know what I mean? You haven't got to worry too much about where you get it done or most of that stuff, you know what I mean? Even the classes you select, you know what I mean? Because we're going to branch out anyway into the niche. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter too much. I have 7 items in my niche. Logo is done. Pick suppliers on a sheet. Trademark pending. Now doing some brand copyright and preparing mock-ups to register on Amazon. Should I prioritise something else? The only thing I'm going to say is try and get some samples. Get your samples sent out. But yeah, no, it sounds like you're doing very well. Yeah, I'm proud of you, man. Well done. Because this is what it takes, you know what I mean? It's kind of boring, these first steps, because you don't see any return at all. Do you know what I mean? So with your Amazon business, realistically, you should be thinking, where's it going to be in 2 years' time? Rather than, this is taking long, this isn't working, this is boring, you know what I mean? This is fucking costing me a fortune, whatever. You know what I mean? You kind of need to just roll with it for at least about 2 years. And then when you start seeing little bits of results and little increases in successes, you know what I mean? That's when you know when you're going to go for it. It's a bit like when I first started MMA, I was terrible at wrestling, you know what I mean? It annoyed the life out of me, even just doing it. Because, you know what I mean, the guys were so much more skilled at it, man. It's frustrating as fuck when you're trying to stand up and then someone just keeps pulling you down and down and down. You know what I mean? But obviously, when I wrestle with some of the newer guys, I see my experience coming into it, you know what I mean? You see a little bit of success. I'm not even that good at it, you know what I mean? But I'm starting to see a little bit more success from it now. And it's a lot more, you know what I mean? It's a lot easier to keep going once you're into it. But yeah, I'd say give your Amazon business at least 2 years. Don't give up on it too early. Because in them early stages is where everything looks the worst and it looks the most unlikely to succeed. Just watch the video about Ungate on Amazon. Do Ungate with a sample invoice or the branded invoice? The branded invoice. In fact, we don't really do samples for wholesale, I've just realised. Yeah, do it with the company's invoice, because we don't brand wholesale. We only brand private label. And you don't need to get Ungate for private label because obviously it's your product. So the brands obviously gate their items to stop people just selling them on Amazon. But if you're an actual supplier and you're a merchant yourself, you know what I mean, obviously you can get ungated. But if you're private label, you don't need to do any of that. No, you don't need to ungate for private label, because the only person that's keeping a gate is the brand owner. You know what I mean? Since you're the brand owner, you haven't got to worry about any of that. What was a dog barking? Fucking loud as fuck, the dog is, man. I suck at wrestling too. So yeah. Thanks, I'm waiting for the guy or hired to help me with trademarks. You'll hear from him tomorrow by the end of this week. Sad. I was going to say, I actually don't suck at wrestling. I used to. Now I'm just kind of shit. I might have to refresh the courses, but electronic and clothes discouraged because for private label or both wholesale and private label. More so for private label. Wholesale you can do it, but often they're so competitive with wholesale. I generally tend to avoid them, but it's more discouraged for private label. Yeah, wholesale not so much. This is kind of the annoying thing about teaching Amazon, is because I have to teach you for each model. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just objectively, you know what I mean? So I've got to say, yeah, for private label you don't, or wholesale you do, whatever, you know what I mean? So samples don't need to be sent to Amazon when doing wholesale. How many items need to be sent to get ungated? You don't need to send any. It's basically the invoice. You need to get at least 10 units generally. To get ungated, 10 units and the invoice. And sometimes photos of the units. But yeah, we don't really tend to need wholesale samples because generally the MOQ is a lot lower with wholesale. With private label, the MOQ is usually higher or price wise. You know what I mean? Because a lot of wholesalers will say like, yeah, £400 minimum order, no worries. You know what I mean? Getting samples, you know what I mean? You're probably be spending 100 or 200 for samples when you might as well just go with the full whack, you know what I mean? Or alternatively, you could just go down to a local retail store, you know what I mean, and buy 10 units from there. Do you know what I mean? But then again, you might need an invoice. So yeah. I was gonna say, guys, we're creating. In fact, I'll answer this question first. So, should I get samples already, or can I wait for the trademark then go for the samples? Now you get the samples already. Trademarks are not difficult to get. You know what I mean? Because you're still gonna be in the same niche. The only thing you might have to change is the brand name or the class you're gonna sell in. So once that's done, you know what I mean. The samples don't change. Do you know what I mean? So the product won't change. The only thing that'll change is maybe the name and the class you're selling, and that's it. So once you got that going, you know what I mean? The samples you're going to need anyway. So yeah, get them. What was I going to say now? Yeah, we're working on something now, which is basically a quiz to direct you guys on where you're struggling, you know what I mean? Because I want all my students at least advancing in some way, do you know what I mean? Let's say you just want to learn it. I don't mind that, you know what I mean? If you want to learn it and just get your money up, I don't mind that, you know what I mean? It's probably the correct way to approach it. So, you know what I mean? I want to make sure everyone knows exactly where, or sorry, I know exactly where all my students are having trouble. Do you know what I mean? Because I know where you're having trouble, then we can pinpoint and then fix it. Do you know what I mean? So we're creating like a quiz at the moment to make sure you guys are all getting each problem out of the way. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's understanding the model, understanding the difference between private label and wholesale, or if it's a case of I don't know how to find suppliers, I don't know how to find products, I'm struggling with a niche, I'm struggling to find the criteria. Helium-10, I don't understand, whatever, you know what I mean? We're going to go through and make sure everyone's covered. Because, you know what I mean? We are here to make sure, obviously, your business is succeeding. So, for wholesale, I find the products and supply, make my first large order, then ship 10 items along with the invoice to Amazon. No, you need to get on gate before you can create a shipping plan. So, you don't... It's not actually the 10 items. You don't need to show 10 items on the invoice. It needs to be a minimum of 10 items. So, let's say I buy 400 units of one. You know what I mean? If I send a 400 unit invoice to Amazon, they'll say, yes, sound. And then you get ungated and then you do the shipping plan. So then once you have that, you're sorted. In the PDF I got from Barclays, mate, it said it must be over. Yeah, I've never had a problem with that, if I'm being honest. The UPC is basically for you to get signed to Amazon, so your product code or the product ID, and then they'll have their own version. So yeah, if Amazon obviously wants to put it over, then they can. You know what I mean? But for mine, I don't send my own. What's it called? Is the Alibaba profile important for suppliers? If so, how to improve it or to have the best results? How do you mean by profile? Yeah, what do you mean by profile? Are there going to be any additional lessons on wholesale? Yes, we're going through them now. Me and the captains are all going through them right now. So I'm saying I want to add at least probably another 10 lessons, if I'm being honest. If we can get that many, you know what I mean? But I'm sure we could literally just do a case of, yep, we'll do another product research video, another one, supply check video, whatever, you know what I mean? But again, the supplier should deal with the UPC placement on my products when they ship from Amazon over Fulfillment Center, right? If private label, yeah. If you're what's it called? If you're doing wholesale, you don't need you don't generally need barcodes very often. Well, I can't do this on the bar. I mean, believe the suppliers will check that right. Oh right, yeah, I know what you mean. Somewhat, yeah. But when you obviously you're new to Alibaba, you know what I mean. A lot of them won't get back to you because based on the fact of, you know what I mean, you probably haven't bought before because they're gonna think you're a waste of time. But this is why you like talk correctly. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is a private label. Yeah, basically they'll put it on for you. If you want to incorporate into the packaging, you can do that. Or you can have just like a label on top of the box. Doesn't matter. More lessons would help. So I'm doing lots of research without as much guidance. How do you mean? What guidance do you need? Tell me specifically. What area are you struggling in? For the longest day of my life. I almost got a fucking leg triangle today. And it annoyed me because I had everything in. I just needed to shift my legs out. The kid walked into it, I just pulled his head down. And I got the right leg free, and I got that over his neck. So I pulled him in, grabbed the shin, about to lock it up. And it's locked up, and I'm trying to pull his head into his shoulder, obviously, to finish it. But he just weren't tapping for some reason. I think I need to pivot off a little bit better. But yeah, almost had it. So after that, it was weird because I'll tell you afterwards. How do I confirm if a product? How do I confirm a product for private label? Product isn't private label. Generally, private label has one seller, one or two. So yeah, now doubt it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's wrong. Usually, it's private label if you can never find it anywhere. You know what I mean? If you can't find a supplier for it, it probably is private label. Or if you can't find their website. But if you can find the brand's website, then yeah, it's most likely wholesale. What other marketing should you go for besides from PPC? You can do influencer marketing. That's quite successful. Again, that's in the course if you want to check that out. Well, knowing the order in which things need to be done. For example, I was already searching for products, then through the chat, I need to find out I need to seller's permit in order to sell. Seller's permits are entirely subjective to the United States. It's not normal anywhere else in the world. So, I mean, that's literally to do with business more than it is to do with actually the Amazon model. So, you know what I mean? These things we don't really advise on setting up limited companies or taxes. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, seller permits are literally subjective to the United States only. We don't. UK doesn't have it. Europe doesn't have it. You know what I mean? It's literally US. That's it. But yeah, sure, we'll add it to the course if you want. We'll put for Americans only on the title. But yeah, it is just a bullshit US law. But then again, I heard you need a license to fucking cut hair in America. What the fuck? A license to cut hair? Anyway, I can't start my American questions because I've got too many. As you're in the UK, what are your experiences with delivery times from Alibaba? They usually take about 30 to 40 days generally. If they're in a shitty little part of China, it might be 45, 50. But generally, yeah. I usually pay the 4 month rule. If I don't have 4 months worth of stock, I need to fucking order some right now. You know what I mean? What it mean when Seller Amp has IP alert on a product? Personally, I don't use Seller Amp, so it's going to be difficult for me to answer this. But IP alert is basically, I think it's intellectual property. So IP alert, but I don't know, to be honest. I need context, to be honest. Seller Amp, I don't usually use Seller Amp. I only use Helium 10 myself. Breakfast in bed, don't know. Anyway, I was just telling my story. Oh, that was it. I had my back taken, and I was defending a rear naked choke, and it went kind of mental because I managed to get my legs out, and I managed to turn into him into side control. And then from side control, I tried to go for a crucifix. And then like attack a Kimura. But I got into mount too easy. You know what I mean? I just put the knee on the belly straight through. And then from mount, I was trying to get an Americana, which wasn't working. I tried to get a arm triangle, and he was just pulling his arm down. From that, he kind of turned over and then gave up his neck. And obviously, the rear naked choke is probably the easiest submission to get. So yeah, that was how that went. What is a good month of inventory when you find a good sample that gives some results? I'd want to have at least 2 or 3 months of inventory. But wholesale, you can have a little bit less because obviously the lead time's basically non-existent. For private label, obviously the lead time's a lot longer because you obviously have to have it manufactured then shipped from China. So 4 months of inventory for private label. I'd say a month for wholesale. When you chose to sell in the American market, did you set up an LLC? No. I'll stick to my UK limited company. I can't be asked to fucking set up another LLC. Nothing like that. It's long. Jungle Scout said, was everyone using Jungle Scout? Said, my product fell so much a month. I bought some and I've none sold. And I have the same. I spoke to you about this another day, a few days ago. I responded to the chat as well. I bought some and now I've sold. I have the buy box, but no sales. I do go get another product and leave this one. I'd be checking why it's not selling because that doesn't make a lot of sense. Either you're not winning the buy box or there's a major glitch in something you're doing. You know what I mean? Maybe you're not active, I don't know. But I want to know how you know you have the buy box though. But yeah, good amount of inventory is obviously make sure you have enough time to cover yourself. Can you anticipate if your samples will continue doing good to seal the deal with the supplier before you run out of stock? Good signs of a promising product. If they're selling without needing without PPC campaigns or anything like that, that's a good product. But then again, even with PPC campaigns, some products don't sell. You know what I mean? Well, they don't sell very well at all. I've never had a product never sell ever. You know what I mean? I've had a product not sell very well. So again, we go to the criteria and then we go to what data we got back from the samples. You know what I mean? If the samples did well, then sure, let's go for it. You know what I mean? But if they did, or if they didn't, then yeah, I'd abandon it. So you need a once month of sales to get data. No, you don't need a month of sales. You need to basically sell out the samples. So let's say you've got 10 samples, you know what I mean? If they're only selling 10 samples in a month, I'd be a little bit concerned. Do you use Keeper? No. I'll ask one of the captains to do a video on Keeper because I don't use it myself. I'm ready to place my order from wholesalers who will print my labels for me. Do I put the wholesaler's address on Amazon? No. Only if you're using Amazon's partnered courier. Just put your address or the business address. It doesn't matter. If the store is sold by, does that not match the brand name? Is that not a private label? It's less likely. But then again, people can have stores that are just like, they're not related to the brand. You know what I mean? Let's say Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola owns... Who do they own now? I think they own Mountain Dew. Maybe. But anyway, Mountain Dew's still a brand. But if Coca-Cola own it and then Coca-Cola is the corporation, you know what I mean? It can be... it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? In that case, it is still owned by the same people. I have the buy box for sure. How do you know that? If let's say a family member who lives far away from you, if they go on Amazon and try and find that product, are you the person who they have to buy through? If that's the case, then yeah, you probably do own the buy box, but that is very strange. What shipping method would you opt for? In my head, DDP sounds the best, but I could be wrong. It depends on the shipment size, to be honest. If it's a small one for your first one, I'd go DDP or DDU. It generally works out cheaper. If you're doing in large, big pallets and stuff, you know what I mean? I usually go CIF, but then again, in fact, no, I don't. I used to go CIF, but now I generally tend to go for freight on board, and then I'll get the freight forwarder to contact their shipping agent, and then we'll get basically them to give me a DDU quote, which will then be paid for when it hits the port. So it's a good way to offset capital as well, because it gives you more time, you know what I mean? Because obviously money has a time value attached to it. I need a utility bill for Amazon. I don't have one. Do you think they will accept my driver license with my address on it? You could try it. You can also try a bank statement with your address on it. That's the way I used to get around it, because I never have utility bills for some reason. So yeah. Everyone's going digital now, aren't they? Fuck's sake. Is there any advantage to FBM when selling wholesale? No, never. There's never any advantage from FBM ever. Only if you're selling dodgy products like dangerous goods and hazmats and stuff, you know what I mean? But even then, it's a problem. So yeah, FBM has no advantage ever. So for starters, DDU people, DDU is the best way to go before moving on for pallets. Even with pallets, you still probably want DDU or DDP. It's only really when you start going to the big quantities, I'd want freight on board and I'd want to get my own freight forwarder. But at this early stage in your career, realistically, just get a quote from the shipping company, from the supplier for their shipping company. And yeah, beyond that, once you start getting more familiar with it, you know what I mean, then you can start getting your own freight forwarders in and that. But I think it's a lot of moving parts for you at the minute, but up to you. But yeah, DDP or DDU. Logged into my friend's Amazon account, searched it up, it's my name and my price and buy box, window 100%, not sure what the issue is. You know, send me the link if you can. If you add me as a friend, send me a link. Thanks for asking my questions. It helps so much. You're welcome, Kool-Aid. I'm glad they're helping. It is absolutely my job to make sure you guys are actually making a success of any endeavor. Let's be honest. If you want to do Amazon or whatever, or if I can help you out with e-commerce or whatever, you know what I mean, it is what we're here to do. Because you know what I mean, don't forget, I was this person before. You know what I mean, I was a struggling entrepreneur. Just like right now, I'm in the gym, I'm a struggling fighter. You know what I mean, I'm losing. When we're doing sparring, because obviously the good guys turn up for sparring, you know what I mean, I'm taking a beating. But this is what you're going to take in your business. Do you know what I mean? But I took it all. You know what I mean? I took the beatings in the early days. So it's absolutely normal, man. And yeah, glad you're moving forward. What is defined as a big quantity? It doesn't matter about the big quantity is more so much about the cubic meters and the weight. So I'd say a big quantity is like 10 cubic meters of stock or 20 tons. Do you know what I mean? That's a what's it called? 400 unit. That's minor. I want to do a digital product on Amazon at some point. Is this something you cover? We don't do. I don't really cover like KDP or anything. We have a guide for it, but I never really did it, so it's hard for me to teach it when I didn't really do it. So, unfortunately, we're not going to cover that directly. Amazon countries have a warehouse in New Zealand. Should I focus on private label or wholesale to maximize profits? It depends on your budget. If you've got the budget for private label, do private label. I mean, I'll probably sell in the US. Maybe you can do Australia if you want, you know what I mean? But I'll probably start selling in the US. Or, probably stick to the US even. What's needs to be able to friend others on the real world? I'm pretty active on there. There's a. I was talking to Cole, but yeah, there's a button that says plus and then a person in it. But yeah, it's all on the real world. A link to the product or what? Link, I'm confused. Yes, Cole. A link to the product, please. My name is Cameron. Could you add me? You want me to add you? Just add me, you dosser. Also, I can't add him on the real one. My account score isn't high enough, it says. Well, better look next year. Alright, no, just tag me in the Ask the Professor chat and I'll add you. You feeling better? Private Lab is the way forward then. Yeah, I feel fine. Private Lab is the way forward then. Personally, I think so. I think private label is it's the stepping stone. So unless it's a private label product, let's say it's A4 paper, it's like, even if I could manufacture it myself or get my own private model of paper, it's like, it's fucking paper, who cares, you know what I mean? So in that case, private label is very appropriate. The end goal really is for you to have your own model so that no one else can private label that same model. That's the real end goal for Amazon. You know what I mean? You want to have your own products that nobody can even have 10% close to. It's all totally unique. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit like a step, a bit like a ladder up. You know what I mean? Wholesale to private label to then to your own products, to then maybe even you manufacturing your own products. You know what I mean? It says I haven't unlocked it. Mad thing. Never mind. I'll add you, man. Just tag me in the Ask the Professor chat. We'll do it later on. Any more questions, guys? We're 31 minutes in. I might wrap this one up pretty soon because I want to watch this Piers Morgan interview because it sounds funny. It's funny. How long are we talking really from start to finish? 20 hours of work. For what? The annoying truth about Amazon is I wish I could tell you guys just to work hard, fucking put as many hours in as possible, but truthfully, a lot of it's like playing tennis, man. You have to wait for the fucking ball to get back in your court before you can whack it back. So you can't just go all out on it, you know what I mean? You're kind of waiting on other people. So, with far as product research goes, yeah, put the hours in, 100%. But the truth is, a lot of the time, you're waiting on responses, emails, quotes, bullshit, you know what I mean? So, yeah, put the work in, but the truth is, you're waiting a little bit. Would I be able to consult you or a coach about a product that I found good, fine, or no-go? As long as you've done all the research and make sure you have all the answers ready for me, then yeah, fine. But if I'm asking you questions you don't know the answer to, I'm not going to be happy about it because, you know what I mean, you're just wasting my time at that point. But if you have a product in mind and you've done all the research, you're literally on the brink of buying the samples, you know the criteria we're looking for, then yeah, sure, DM me and we'll go through it. PR, do I need PPC when I'm wholesaling brands? Not so much, no. Usually they hold themselves down because you're more competing with the other sellers rather than competing with the other listings, if you know what I mean. So not so much when you're wholesaling. You can do, but only if you win the buy. Only if you win the buy box. Peace out, TJ. I'm gonna watch the Piers Morgan get flamed by Tay. To be honest, I can almost guarantee they'll be sitting there agreeing with each other. Yep, she's a bitch. Yep. Yes, Andrew, I totally agree. Oh, good, then we agree. Yes, we do. Megan's a bitch. No one likes her. How long it takes to see first big numbers in private label? About 14 to 16 months in. It was about that time. 14 to 16 months. It was starting to do proper numbers, like 20k. 20k a month was when it started to, you know what I mean? That's when I started to notice big numbers. Calling is better than email. How to call in China. No. Calling is better for wholesale. In China, just email them, man. I don't really like calling them, to be honest, because their English isn't usually that good. Not bad good, but it's like hard. My accent's hard to understand. I don't know why, but it is. So, literally, I was in Dubai the once. There was this girl who was from it's one of them regions in the Caucasus. I think it's not Dagestan, but it's near Dagestan. I don't think it was Chechnya, but it was something like that. And she just couldn't understand my accent for some reason. She could speak English, but I had to speak extremely slowly, and I almost had to put an accent on. When she asked me my phone number, I had to go. Literally, she couldn't understand. Like, how can you not understand numbers? But yeah, so I don't tend to use the phone call with foreigners, to be honest. Then again, people in Asia, like in the South Asian countries, can understand me for some reason. Thank you, Professor. Alhamdulillah. Mashallah, brother. Can't imagine why she couldn't grasp the accent. Shut up, Dylan. fight you. I look forward to coming down to the gym so I can beat your ass up. Metaphorically, of course. And physically. And emotionally. Nah, for some reason, foreigners don't understand me very well, man. I don't know why. Tag Joe, we're waiting for the ad, Jay. Thank you for the link. Send you the link. Mr. Sound French. You might have to change that last name, though. We're still pissed off with the French. Then again, they lost in the final, which is kind of funny. To be fair, Dylan, you can come down and just do day sessions, man, and pay for them if you want. The first session's free as well, Dylan, so if you want to come down, the first session's free. It's free. Oh, yes. Oh, sound, yeah, can do. The first beating's free, yeah. It won't be a beating, to be honest, because you'll come down a lot the beginning of the day. So we won't really be doing much physical. It's only on sparring where we really start whacking each other. All right, got to hop off. Thanks, all right, peeps. Sound. I'll wrap this one up then, since everyone's basically done and leaving. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Same time again tomorrow, 10 PM, on the correct time zone, which is UK time. Any more questions in the meantime? Ouch, my shoulders. Fucked. Ugh. I got shoulder locked earlier, guys, and it really is bad. But yeah, come see us again, 10 PM tomorrow. Any questions in the meantime, just drop them in the chats. I'm sure me or most likely Michael will get back to you, because Michael's a G. And yeah, see you guys tomorrow.